So thank you everybody for joining us today. Really appreciate your time today, especially as there's so many other things going on as we were talking about. But before we get started, I just want to introduce, first of all, William, who's here from Reply.io. And for those that we've not met before, myself, Ian, the co-founder of Hyperise. I've been a big fan of Reply.io, but more specifically William, for a while now. I've been stalking his posts. He writes some amazing posts about personalization throughout the landing pages and email, and has achieved some great results. And so I was super excited when the Rimmer from Reply.io organized this. This is a bit of excitement for me as much as it is hopefully for you guys as well, in terms of some things we're going to teach. But yeah, I just want to say, William, thanks very much for joining us today.
Yes, thanks for inviting us. I'm even bigger fan of Hyperise now after these 2 months preparing for this webinar. So yeah.
Amazing. Thanks very much. Before we kind of get in today, and we'll go through an agenda in a minute, I'd just love to hear about the people we've got here on the webinar in terms of your own experiences. I'd love if you'd be able to just pop in the chat, you know, whether you've ever received a personalized image, you know, or in fact, if you have received a personalized image, what sort of image was it, and how did that make you feel? I'd love to understand everybody here, just to kind of see the experience everybody's got, whether they've had any personalized experiences before with imagery. Hi Lou, how you doing? I'd love to hear your experiences of that. Does anybody have anything they would like to share? I can see there's a fair few of us in the group now. Okay, you're struggling with a scale. So yeah, certainly that's something that we're going to be covering today, in terms of how we can create effectively image templates and then use those. So that's great. We've got a perfect group in terms of not many people have received personalized images, so maybe you haven't got a good understanding of one, what they're going to look like, never mind how you can use them and scale them. So perfect, you're definitely in the right place. So sit down, buckle up, and get ready to get some learning on. The other thing I would have been interesting to is, obviously, Lou, you mentioned that you've been struggling to scale. So have you sent personalized images? Has anybody else used personalized images before and had any struggles with that? Lou, you mentioned you were struggling to scale. Anybody else here joining us today that's had any issues or ever sent personalized images, and what were your experiences? Keen to hear about that. William, I know from your perspective, from reading through your blogs, that you went through a lot of trials to get through to the right sort of personalization. Spent a lot of time, you know, with your development team as well as kind of your kind of copywriters and marketing, and to get that final output.
Yeah, actually, I left a message in the chat. So yeah, I actually grabbed some data before this webinar, and we sent around 100,000 personalized images within the last, I guess, 4 years, like 3.5.
Wow, that is crazy. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's cool. And again, it's at scale, right? So you're kind of you had that upfront pain, as it were, to get there, but now it's all gravy. Yeah, fantastic. Lou, we say, oh yeah, so with Loom and Drift, yeah, that's certainly they're great mediums for being able to kind of create images and videos that are personalized more efficiently, but yeah, they don't really kind of like do that scale. And that's definitely something that we're going to be touching upon today. But yeah, William, 100,000 personalized images, that's insane, amazing. So let's jump into it and just kind of cover off what we're going to be what is the agenda for today, what we're going to be covering. So of course, the key kind of the core element of that's going to be thread through all of this is personalization, and how we can hyper-personalize our sales funnel from our outreach through to the landing pages and all the way through, so we can get that personalized experience. And of course, with Reply.io, they provide multiple touch points throughout your funnel, and so it really does kind of lend to full hyper-personalisation. So we're going to be looking at why we should be using personalised images in our outreach. What is the benefit of that, and kind of what that's going to give us. And then once we've learned that, how we can use that within Reply.io and start to add those images in there. And then finally, what we're going to do is cover over how we can also touch on personalized videos, and how personalized videos, similar to personalized images, we can really help to drive engagement, and how we can start to do personalized videos at scale. And then finally, we're going to leave you with lots of ideas and inspiration that you can take away and use for your own campaigns. Now, one thing I would say up front is we're going to be obviously recording this session, and so everybody will get a copy of that recording. We'll send that to you, but also the deck that we're going through now, we'll share that at the end as well. And obviously at the end, we're going to have a chance for some Q&As. So if you do have any questions as we go through, please feel free to pop those in the chat. Some of those we'll maybe pick up as we go through, and then you'll have a chance to ask any other further questions at the end of the session. So hopefully that's clear. And again, please feel free to shout out and jump in the chat at any point as we go through. So first of all, let's jump into why we should be using personalized images in our outreach. Now, I'm sure anybody that's got an email account or uses LinkedIn or uses the internet, i.e. all of us, will be aware that we're bombarded with messages now, and just looking at some of the statistics that are out there, the amount of messages, marketing messages that we see in a single day, is insane. And of course, what that leads to is you're kind of user engagement in content going down as we kind of become numb to those messages, and we get a shorter and shorter amount of time to grab the user's attention. And that really is, the problem, and where that kind of manifests itself is in the cost to acquire customers is just going up and up. And we can see over the last 5 years, the cost to acquire a customer has increased by 50%, and that's across B2B and B2C, because this attention deficit disorder is the same, throughout channels, irrespective of the sort of buying decision that you're making. And that really is just, because, the cost goes up as our conversion rates go down. And so how can we grab people's attention? How can images help in that sense? How can we kind of push through that barrier? So if we think about a lot of the outreach that we do, especially cold outreach when it's email or LinkedIn, it's very textual based. But the majority of us humans are visual learners, over 65% in fact. And the human brain processes images significantly quicker than text. And really that shouldn't be any surprise to us as marketers or as salespeople, because when we look at any sort of marketing channel, we see, they're predominantly visual, and, if we look at kind of video consumption, it's kind of going through the roof. People like to look at images versus consuming text. In fact, it's something like if you read something, then it's versus it's about 10% kind of knowledge retention, whereas if you see it, it's more than 30% knowledge retention. So it really does help drive that. So when we have an image that reinforces our call to action or our message, that message is understood much quicker. But when we add personalization into that image, it's going to trigger a pattern interrupt. That pattern interrupt is like a psychological behavior that just puts a brake on the brain, which leads to more mind share, and that more mind share obviously triggers more engagement, and more engagement leads to more people taking your call to action. And so that's really why kind of personalized images are so effective. And of course, the other thing why images are great is because they're inherently portable. We can use them throughout our sales funnel, in our cold outreach, on our onboarding, our re-engagement, in LinkedIn or websites, or even beyond that, and many, many other use cases that can really, really help drive that engagement. And it's really combining all these aspects of attention deficit disorder and images being so effective at transmitting your message, and personalization being such a great strategy. When we mix all those together, we can create this true hyper-personalisation, where throughout our sales funnel, we're delighting our prospects and creating micro conversions, moving them through. And what we do is we get results like this, that we turn reluctant repliers into buyers. We've kind of, for people like Edgar here, who just, is just predisposed to not like cold outreach. And every email he gets that is cold, he's either deleting it or he's marking you as spam. But being able to create this visualization of, hey, let's have a chat and a coffee, personalizing it to him and his business, just cuts through the noise, creates that pattern interrupt that makes him think about, oh, actually, this is interesting. I am going to give it a go. And you get, when you start to use this sort of hyper-personalized engagement, you start to get responses like this, like, I never reply to these emails. This is the first one that worked. Or engaging non-buyers and getting word-of-mouth referrals. Like in this example here, Jonathan from TFC, he wasn't maybe the right person to reach out to, but rather than, again, deleting as a marketing as spam, he's forwarded it onto his team because he appreciated the outreach strategy. So a great way of kind of engaging those people that ordinarily would be potentially negative. William himself has also got some great examples here. William, I'll pass the mic over to you. I'd love to hear more about some of these images and how they came to be.
So yeah, I would love to share a short story about how we decided to use personalized images here at Reply. So, our conversation with Jan made me think that probably lots of you here maybe was in the same situation. So basically, we decided, when I just joined Reply back in like 2017 as an SDR, I was extremely obsessed with personalization at scale. I was thinking how we can do that, and I came across one blog post of an agency showing how they were generating like thousands of personalized images in a few minutes, and I was impressed, and we wanted to give it a try, and we decided, yeah, we want to try it. So we actually started brainstorming with our team, with our designers, marketing, SDRs, and we came up with an idea to create the image you can see on the slides. So we actually created this image, and it took us 2 days. Then we decided to create two sequences, extremely the same sequences, with the only one difference. One sequence contained that personalized image, while the second one contained just plain text emails. So as I can see in the next slide, the results were great. So we were able to generate almost 2x more replies within that sequence with personalized image. So we said, wow, we will use this for all our outbound sequences, so that's how we started using it. And as you can see, here are stats of those two sequences. The first one with no image, and reply rate is pretty good, while the second one with the sequence with an image generated us, like, as you can see, 10% more replies. And lots of us also were afraid of delivery rate, but as you can see, in our case, we were able to even increase our delivery rate because probably a slightly better prospect list, but overall the image didn't break up our delivery rates.
Yeah, that's great. Amazing uplift. We do see kind of similar sort of results, but you kind of from clients using us, but you put so much effort into kind of creating those images. Must have been so rewarding to see, because you were kind of pioneering that within Reply.io, to kind of see that result. Amazing. And you're absolutely right there. It's something that I probably hear from a lot of customers in terms of worried about including images in their emails, and what that, the potential pitfalls of that. And I think that kind of comes back to the old days where, email spammers would try to get around content scanners, so avoiding, keywords in emails. And so the whole email would be an image, and therefore, they would look out for emails that had just an image in it now. But I think if you look at most of corporate America, they have at least one image in their signature now with their company logo, whatever. So the penalty for just having an image is if it's just an image and no text, for example. But what we found in our test when we've looked at it is that when you include an image, or when you can have a better engagement in an email, your domain reputation improves. So if the image is driving that better engagement, people are more likely to reply, more likely to click, then the email service providers will see that and therefore improve your domain reputation. Of course, less people, more people being engaged, and less people marking you spam. So it all long-term kind of creates a better domain reputation and a better open rate. Of course, I'll caveat all of that with, like you said, William, it still comes down to great targeting. If you're just emailing out with bad targeting, it doesn't matter how great your content and your offer is, it was still, you know, it still won't result in a 2x uplift. So, of course, targeting is always key. But hopefully that's given you guys some ideas of you know why we should be using image personalization in our outreach. So what we wanted to kind of touch on now is how to use image personalization. So William gave us a great example there of how they were pictorially kind of or diagrammatically telling a story you know, for their customers. And what I wanted to do now is just kind of go through a couple more examples of you know how we can make the personalization purposeful. I'm really taking myself some tongue twisters here. So in this example, you know, what we're looking at is we're trying to reinforce the call to action. So in this case, the call to action is, hey, let's kind of chat over a coffee and chew the fat on growth. So, I mean, really, obviously what the core strategy here is we're trying to frame the call as a chat. So therefore, making it seem psychologically like less of a barrier to acceptance than let's have a demo or let's have a sales call. So we're first of all kind of deliberately framing the conversation as a chat and therefore making it seem more lighthearted by saying a virtual coffee or a coffee in quotes. And so now we're going to set that up, having an image that reinforces that, you can see in this case with their name on the coffee cup. You know, create this amazing response like you can see from Alyssa here. So, okay, you got me. I get 10 LinkedIn messages a day. Your personalized image is awesome. I'd love to talk. You know, so it really is about triggering that, you know, that purposeful response. You know, so they've seen the image, it reinforces the call to action, and it creates that moment of delight. You know, and really does push them in that right direction. Or this is another one of our clients here at Hyperise, Hubstaff. Now, Hubstaff, for those that haven't heard of them, they're a SaaS application, and they're for target themselves to HR managers, and it's a timesheet application. And so what they did is they took their actual product screenshot. So this is a screenshot of their dashboard and of their mobile app solution. And what they did is, you see here, this is all personalized to Tim Cook from Apple. So where we can see the Apple logo, where we can see the map, where we can see the name on the dashboard, even the profile image, they were all personalized to each prospect they were reaching out to. And what that did was 4 times the amount of people that were taking their call to action in their outreach. In this case, their call to action was to sign up for a free trial, so a self-serve call to action. But, you know, really kind of triggering that kind of about FOMO, that fear of missing out, showing them, hey, this is the product. You can imagine, you know, if you're a HR manager and you're managing your remote workers, you know, in a little spreadsheet somewhere, and then you see this, you think, oh, wow, that really is amazing how easy it would be to manage my remote workers. You really are painting the future, you know, and it's an amazing way of kind of visualizing the story you're trying to tell, and how amazing it's going to be and how simple your life's going to be. So, you know, visualizing, personalizing the product, if you have one, is an amazing way of triggering purposeful personalization. As we saw before in my LinkedIn message example, I like to reframe my calls as let's have a chat and a coffee. One of the things I've learned from doing this for quite a little bit now in terms of visualization and outreach, being able to use GIFs is a real benefit, because that movement of the image kind of draws the eye in. So you can see here in this case, having me visualization going from name on coffee cup to me with the cup kind of cheering them, but including their call to action in the image, but also using some other personalization techniques like the logo, the business name on my screen, and also their website there. And you can see what that's doing is, one, it's humanizing the connection in terms of it's me in the image, and so that's the person they're going to meet, because my call to action is to jump on a, or have a demo or a sales call, but also you, again, minimizing that call to action in terms of kind of reducing or kind of framing it as a chat and a coffee. And you really are kind of turning like to love in terms of just elevating that feel-good factor. And you can see Rebecca's response here is like, love this, when can we chat? She's no wet behind the ears junior, she's the founder CEO of, Loud Marketing, a big agency. Another of our clients, Orca Security, I love this image, it always makes me smile. And I can see, just as I changed the slide there, that the same was true for William. I'd love to have been able to see all of your faces as I turned to this one. But what you saw there, what kind of made what you felt, that little kind of, this is very ridiculous. I mean, let's just be clear here. The image is ridiculous. And, and also just to frame this, Orca Security, they sell high-end security. They sell 5, 6, 7 figure online security. You have to have over 1,000 cloud assets to even get a demo call with Orca to qualify for the demo call, but they still managed to attract these high-level C-suite execs into calls with this pattern interrupt. The other interesting thing to note here is that they're also offering a bribe, a $200 bribe or gift for turning up onto the demo. They already had that bribe before they used the personalized image. So even though a $200 bribe is powerful to get people into a demo, personalized image was still able to 2x the amount of people that took that offer, just showing how important it is to kind of visualize your offer and show people what you're offering, to kind of make sure that they read it, because otherwise people will skim and maybe they'll miss the salient point of your offering. And then this is another image technique strategy that you can use, again, to use that salient point to highlight it. This is another client of ours, Staff Circle, and they provide HR experience, again, another SaaS application. But what they do, this is James, who heads up their sales team there. He recorded this in their office just with a completely blank whiteboard. Then obviously the text that's going into that image is then generated dynamically based on the business name and what they're reaching out for, and obviously the person's name. And James and his entire team were able to uplift, a 2x uplift of their trials by using these sort of highly engaged strategies, again, through email and through LinkedIn indeed. So really does help move the needle. And so it helps kind of celebrate and engage, and again, of course, using that humanizing factor. Also, being able to visualize the choice is a great way of giving choice to your customers. This is an example we did with another client where they were sending out a survey where when they clicked the survey and kind of enrolled them into another funnel. Now, in this case, we had a simple A/B test, putting 50% of the users in the visualized version and 50% in just the pure text version. Now, in the visualized version, where we had personalized images that reinforced each call to action there, we got 14 times the amount of clicks. I mean, it's absolutely insane. You can get 14 times the amount of people taking the call to action. Now, in this case, of course, the call to action was much, much reduced. Then it wasn't signing up for a trial, it wasn't booking for a demo, it was just giving your opinion on something. But if you want to learn from your existing users, or indeed kind of further engage users you're onboarding them, then being able to visualize what you want to show in a personalized way can really help to maintain that sort of engagement. And again, I'm going to pass the mic back to William. We've got some other amazing examples here.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, we actually, when we started using personalized images, we had a few ideas and we incorporate them even now into our email sequences. So we insert a personalized image into our email template, like in step 2 or 3, it depends. But as you can see on this this is our first personalized image we currently use, and it's the simplest one. We only add their company logo and that's it. And when you see how we incorporate the personalized image into email templates, it looks like just like this. So this is the first email template. This is the second one. This one is a little bit more complicated because in this case we use their company logo, we use their company name, we use their company logo primary color as a background, plus we use their personalized avatars and images on LinkedIn, and then we generate this personalized image. And when we incorporate this image into our next template, it looks like this. So each prospect in our sequence can see a quite personalized to them an email. So that's how it works for it. And it's actually this image we started using 4 years ago, and we're still using it. It's our, like, I guess, the best idea so far. I guess it works because we indeed wanted to humanize our outreach. We spent some time even generating these images, and it takes time for us. And I guess that's why they enjoy this image. And we also use personalized images at scale for our inbound sequences. Here's one of our SDRs. So we use like coffee mug and her phone, and we just add their first name as a variable to make sure that email is personalized exactly to that prospect in our sequence, and it makes difference. So yeah, I guess we will keep using all these those templates in our sequences. Yeah, so that's our own experience with personalized images. In most cases, it works better and it helps us generate more interested responses, and definitely it generates higher reply rate. Yeah, I would say we treat it as an additional variable within our sequence, in our email template. So yeah, that's why it works.
Yeah, it's really cool. I go back to this one. I just want to give you a shout out, because this, just for clarity, this is an image that you created in Hyperise. You spent a lot of time building this, like you say, since back in 2017-18 when you created this, and still use this even before Hyperise existed. You were creating these personalized images. So really ahead of the game. And why these sort of images work so well is because you're trying to tell a complex story of, hey, this is the journey of the customer, and I'm trying to make that simple as possible. And so, including a little bit of personalization, like their logo is going to draw them in. Oh, what's this? Well, that's something for me rather than something generic. And then they're more likely, almost as much, just seeking for, okay, where else does it mention me, or where else something blue can see? Oh, I can see Yoke recruitment at the end, or Percons. And so it's kind of almost like top and tailed with personalization, and so it's going to bring them in. And so, yeah, creating that diagrammatic kind of story, or to tell a complex process in a nice, very simple way, it just works super well. And the other thing I wanted to say and give a shout out to William and Reply is that one of the things that's presently not capable is being able to dynamically change a background color based on the main color of a logo. But since William and I have been chatting, we're now in the process of implementing that. So that's going to be live very, very soon. I did hope to be live for this webinar, but it will be live very soon in the coming weeks. So you or anybody else will be able to create these types of images where you can have a dynamic background color as well. Obviously, with Hyperise, we can add logos, etc. But being able to create this full process image here, very exciting. And that takes us on to being able to create a personalized image. Let's jump into a live demo and create an image. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to jump over to hyperise.com. For those of you that haven't actually got a Hyperise account, we do have a free trial. It's 14 days. You can jump straight into the platform. And when you do jump in, you'll be presented with a dashboard like this. What I'm going to do is go straight into the images section. Now, what you'll see in your account when you come in, there'll be over 80 templates of personalized images that you can use or use for inspiration. So all of the different templates that we've been looking through in the deck so far, all of those, there will be versions of those in here so you can have a play and use those or see how they were built. But what I wanted to do today was start off and create a brand new image just to show you the process of one, how we create the image, and two, how we prepare it for adding it into Reply.io. So what I want to do before I just go in and just create an image, I'd love to take some suggestions if anybody has them of any personalized images that that they would like to see, whether they'd like to see a GIF or a static image, or indeed if anybody's got a website they'd like to suggest, then we could pull an image from there and personalize that. Open to suggestions. If a GIF, okay, Cole wants to see a GIF. Okay, so Cole, you win the prize for first answer. So what I'm going to do, there's a couple of ways of creating a GIF. And what I'm actually going to do is just kind of very quickly just open up our support guide here and just kind of talk through the most effective way, which is creating your own GIF. So the sort of GIFs we're looking at so far in this process, where it's you in the image, it's kind of you at the whiteboard, it's you at your wall or you at your desk or whatever. We've seen these humanized images are really effective. To do that, if you have an iPhone or an Android phone, there's an app called Lively for iPhone, or there's an app called Motion Stills for Android. They're both free apps. And what you can do is with the iPhone app, it will convert a live photo into a GIF. And with the Android Motion Stills app, it will convert an MP4 and a movie into a GIF. With either of those, once you create your GIF, you can add it to your Hyperise account. Or alternatively, there's a website version, EZGIF or easygif.com. Again, free service where you can copy or also upload your MP4 and again create a GIF. So what I'm going to do, I'll add that guide into the chat so you've got that there for further use later on. Just pop that in there. So now what I'm going to do, so for the purpose of today's call, I'm not going to record my own GIF. What I'm going to do is show another alternative which I really love, which is Giffy.com. So Giffy.com is just a GIF search engine. But let's say, for example, I wanted to find an image that I was going to send to somebody once I've connected with them. So in this case, we've got this image here. So I'm going to select this image, and I'm just going to choose and choose the image and save image as, and I'm just going to call it connect and save it to my computer. Save that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into Hyperise and then go back to the main editor. So what we've got here is we've got the main editor with all of our personalization controls here, and we've got the canvas in the middle and the settings on the right. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the canvas, and I'm going to choose here to upload the image that we've just saved to my desktop called Connect. I'm going to open that, and you can see here within your library, wherever you upload an image, whether it's a GIF, like you see this one here, or static images, they'll all be there, and you can give them a name. So you can use the pencil to give it a name. So later on, when I want to find it, it's easier to find. I'm going to now select that image, and I'm going to adjust the canvas to match that image size. You can see when we're in edit mode, the GIF doesn't animate, so it just gives us a nice clear canvas to work with. And so now what I can do is I can start to drag in these controls. So maybe what I could do is drag in a text layer here. And what I can do is just resize that to match the size here. Go to text settings and maybe change the font. We've got hundreds of different fonts in here, pretty much all of the Google open source fonts. And what we can do is kind of style this out in terms of size, color, and all those sort of things. And so now we've got the element here. I can double click and change this placeholder text and put in, say, something like, say, first name. And I can duplicate this one here, put that down here. Now I'm going to change the color for that one too. And just say something, actually maybe what I'm going to do is put a shadow on that too, because it's really doesn't come off that grey jumper, does it? So we'll put a black shadow on there, and we say, thanks for the connection. And And so now we've got this personalized image, and maybe what we can also do, we do lots of things in terms of what we've done is added personalized text. So what we can do is we save this and preview that image, and we see just from the text here, from the email that we're going to be using, we're putting through the personalized name. What we can also do is we can choose this to make this obviously much bigger to kind of really stand out. So it's going to be like the full size of the image. There's lots of other kind of elements and dynamic elements we can add into these images. So for example, right now we're looking at text. We also have logos, for example. So the logo, if we put this on here, we're going to dynamically get the logo of the business, and we're going to pull that through just from their business email or website if you have that. So we can add that into the canvas. And so now if we preview that, what we can see is we're putting through a much bigger name now, as well as their logo. And so what we can do is kind of, as we saw with William before, with things like logos, what we can do is create really interesting diagrammatic ways, including their personalization there. We also have website elements as well. So if we wanted to create like a scene where a bunch of people were around a desk, and we want to kind of reinforce the message, hey, we've just checked out your website, then using the website element here, we'll be able to create a personalized website image within their element. So we could, for example, let's jump out of this image and create another one with an office scene where we can create a laptop scene. So let's just choose this meeting here. And then, for example, we can drop another image in here and call this laptop. And then within the screen of the laptop, we could use this website element. And so there, we could create an image where we're going to see the website dynamically. So you see the process of whether we're creating a static image here, and maybe let's just put some text on the blackboard here as well. So we could say, make this black, maybe handwritten. And again, we could let's put in like the business name in there, make it a little bit bigger. And so now we've created that. What we're going to see is the website on the laptop, in this case for App Institute, which is coming dynamically from the email address. We're putting through the business name and their website. So hopefully what you can see from this couple of examples of creating either a GIF or creating an image where we've got assets such as logos, we've got maps, profile images, all being dynamically created from the data we're putting in. And obviously then the next step is, okay, if we've created this image and this is the image we're going to send out to say, hey, our team just had a brainstorming session after looking at your website, we'd love to have an idea or have a chat about some of the ideas we've come up with. And what we can do to drop that into an email template, simply go to this get image code here, click that, and here we choose add new. Obviously it's a new image, so we don't have any integrations, and we choose reply.io, add that to the image template. At this point, what we can do with Hyperise, we can also personalize your website as well. And we're actually going to have a second session following on from this webinar, which you'll all be notified about, where we're going to cover off some of the website personalization, how you can personalize your website too. So for the purpose of this campaign, I'm going to say no for now. And so what we've got now here is this code, and this code here we simply add to our reply.io. We do have an integration guide here, so you can see all of those details of how exactly we add that into reply.io. So I hope that that kind of gives you an idea from a personalization perspective of being able to add it. And we are going to cover off in the next segment of what we do with this code and adding that to reply.io. But I just want to answer the question that Leg posted in terms of what happens when the majority of customers are using Gmail address. Yeah, absolutely. So let's cover that off. So let's preview this image for now. So if you've got a customer, well, let's say you don't have an email at all. We don't, it's not worse than Gmail. It's kind of, something that's not going to give us any personalization, but maybe you still have their website if you're collecting that. So if you do have their website, then we'll be able to still pull that data through from the data you have within reply.io. Or let's say, for example, you don't have a website at all for them. So all you have is a Gmail, but you still want to have, you know, some call to action here. So what we can do with any asset or any element on the image, we can set a fallback. So in this case, where we've got a website here, I could choose a fallback image. So I could do lots of different things where I could show a picture of my own website. I could show a picture of a generic mock-up website and then put their business name in there. Or I could choose, for example, to have a transparency and then show nothing at all. So in this case, what I can see when I've got my transparency in here, it's going to just show the laptop screen. So then maybe what I could do instead is on this canvas have some text, right? So on this canvas here, I could just say something like, let's say first name, thanks for whatever, thanks for taking the CTA, whatever that may be. So in this case, what we can see is now this layer here, we can change the order of that. So the layer, this text layer here is going to be behind the website. So we've got the website here and we've got the text behind it. And so if we view this again, when we have the website, we're going to just see the website. When we don't have the website, but we just have, let's say, the name and don't even have the business name. See the business name, we've not set any default, so it says nothing on the board. Whereas now we don't have the website, so now we have the message on the laptop. So in this case, Ian, thanks for taking the CTA. Thanks, Lake. Hope that helps. Fantastic. So hopefully what we've gone through now, let's go through that get image process one more time. You can see here we've added the integration now, so we can just simply, it's already selected, we just go next. We're still saying we don't know a landing page, so we don't need to personalize our landing page just yet. We'll cover that in the next session. And now we copy our code. And once we've copied that code, we then go over to reply.io. So let's move over and look at the process of doing this in reply.io. Now, William, did you want to kind of go through this live, or should we just look at the slides? We still have
you can give me like 2 minutes, maybe less.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So let me stop my my share, and I'll hand the reins over to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
And yeah, then when we go to our Hyperise account, we can see that personalized image. Let's say this one. We have this is the one, like we already skipped the steps Jan just mentioned above, and now we just can simply copy the image code and choose reply as integration. Then we simply need to copy and paste this code, go to a sequence, reply sequence, and just simply upload, insert a new image and choose that URL as a source. And that's it. In your email template, you will see just that, just generic email personalized image template with variables, stuff like that, and then you need just to click a save. And then when you upload new prospects to your reply sequence, you can go to a preview mode and actually check some of your prospects. And now instead of fallback variables, you will see like a real first name or their logos, all variables you decided to use for your personalized image. So when we just check some of them, you can see that first name is dynamically changed as well. So that's quite easy integration. Thanks.
Yeah, very cool and very simple. I mean, it was literally a couple of steps, so quick almost that you could miss it. So, you know, we do have an integration guide here. I'll pop this into the chat so that there for anybody that does want to kind of go through that integration again. But obviously you're going to have the recording of seeing it live from both sides, from William and myself. But yeah, we've kind of really simple, and obviously that preview for anybody who's, you know, when they're doing it the first couple of times and, you know, they want to make sure that everything looks spot on, that preview really does help. So yeah, great job on that as well. you know, and this is actually kind of an email from Reply that I did when I was before we were or when I was preparing for this webinar. I've been playing around and created a campaign, started to get exactly these sort of results, caught my attention, which isn't easy to do. And now James is a paying customer of ours, so kind of getting paid to set up a demo is not a bad not a bad gig to do at all. But yeah, it really is you know, a really nice way of including and getting that drive and that engagement, you know, and like I say, it really is set and forget. Once you've created that image in Hyperise and you've copied that image code and add it into your template like we've just seen, then that's it. You don't need to go back to Hyperise and keep touching the template up, because it will just dynamically update every time. Really is set and forget. And oh, we're a bit of a arse around that. We've already done that live demo, but never mind. And so the last thing that I wanted to touch upon before we can answer any final questions or go through the inspirational slides is just touch upon video personalization and why that is so important. So I kind of touched upon it already, that the majority of us are visual learners, and we're more and more kind of processing information in a visual way. You know, and a couple of years ago, this slide was seen kind of far-fetched. You know, we're hurtling towards 2022. You know, and I think we're already at this 82% of the internet traffic coming from video. You know, we're consuming video more and more in every sort of way, from chats, from entertainment, you know, on websites, and so we're all being conditioned to enjoy or to communicate in video much more than we ever were before, but yet we're still resorting back to text in our outreach or in our kind of engagement online, and that's going to become more and more jarring as we go through, you know, as we continue just down a pure textual route. And so one of the things with difficult things with video, should I say, is it's difficult to scale that at a real kind of personalized level. So what I wanted to kind of touch upon today was a way with Hyperise that you can start to scale your video in a couple of different, and I'll show you a couple of different examples of how we can do that. So in this case, we look at this kind of pyramid of usage of kind of scale of video engagement. Kind of obviously right down at the bottom here is kind of the video, kind of what we're doing now, where it might be one-to-one or one-to-few, but it's very personal, and you can ask people questions and they'll respond, you know, and it's kind of, but it's not scalable. And yes, you might be able to get a couple hundred people in a webinar, but beyond that, you know, you're always going to be limited by, you know, how, but typically, you know, most of us are doing one-to-one sales calls, those sort of things, and so really not very scalable from a video perspective. The next kind of step up from that, again, is some great products in here. I know the Reply had attended it myself, Vidyard conference or video webinar last month. You know, and they've got some great strategies, and they really make the process of personalizing a video and sending it to an individual person very slick. But again, still it's efficient, but it's kind of still very time consuming and not something you can do at the very top of your scale. So if you want to kind of be able to personalize video and have video as part of your outreach, then Hyperise can enable you to do that by adding personalized video into your landing page as part of your funnel. You know, and a couple of different ways we can do that in video, sales letter, and content engagement. We've also started using it recently in onboarding. So what I want to do is kind of just jump back into Hyperise and just kind of show you kind of just some examples from the video side as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the images section and jump over to videos. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to load up this video here and just going to show you, first of all, some of the basics of the video of kind of how we've created it, and then I'm just going to quick preview run through just to kind of show you kind of how that looks. So what we've got, as you can see, on the left-hand side almost looks exactly the same as the image editor. We've got the same sort of controls that we can drag and drop into the video. Additionally, we've got a couple of extra ones with interactive dynamic buttons and also dynamic audio. We've also got additional controls of time aspect, of course, because it's a video rather than a static image. So we can have the various different elements of the video here. As you can see, I'll move through it. We have kind of different personalized name elements, moving through to a board scene with the business name on the board, and then coming through to, again, going back to what we discussed before about kind of fallbacks. We'll have the website here. When we can have a website, and when not, we have these kind of notes and kind of report strategy, and going all the way through to some interaction, call to actions at the end, again, personalized. So let's just kind of go for a quick preview and show you an example of that. So what I'm going to do is, rather than personalize it to me, I'll just put in email address. I'm just going to put in Tim Cook from Apple, and let's just play the video to see what it looks like.
Hi Tim, did you know videos generate the highest level of engagement online? Did you know that using hyper-personalisation can 2x conversions? Hyperise leverages the power of these combined to take Apple results to a new level. We got together as a team and brainstormed the perfect business to benefit from this. Guess what? Apple was top of our list.
Our analysts checked out the Apple website, and we have some tips to share with you. Using Hyperise, you can personalize any page on your existing website. But it's not just websites. With Hyperise, you can create images that dynamically personalize on the fly. These images can be used in email and LinkedIn outreach campaigns to significantly improve engagement. We're pumped to share our findings with you, Tim. To learn more about how Hyperise can help Apple, select a feature, or book a call to discuss with us in person.
So that gave you a bit of an example of what we can do with personalized video now as well. And you saw there all dynamic elements, from the voice, from the business name, and even this interactivity where we could click, for example, and then go through to an external web page, such as a video, or even trigger other personalized videos within a sequence or steps.
Hi Tim, welcome to your interactive video personalization.
So in this case, we're looking at a video that's more about onboarding.
Onboarding tool. Please click on a feature to learn more and how it can help Apple.
And so the interesting thing about this is we've, as a business, launched our video product at the start of the year, and so switched over our onboarding within our platform to use these personalized videos over the last couple of months, over the last 2.5 months. And we've seen a 3x uplift in the amount of people watching and engaging in our onboarding videos. And let me tell you, from a support perspective, that's made a massive impact. And so the personalization doesn't just have to be in terms of the engagement you're going to drive when people, when you're first interacting with them, when you're kind of sending them to your landing pages, but also further down the funnel, because, engagement and churn and all those other things are equally as important as getting that first touch from the top of the funnel. So being able to use interactive videos to engage existing users, as well as the sales letter sort of ones we're looking at here, is kind of really beneficial. I just want to draw kind of another statistic to your mind, to the front of your mind, that the sales page that we use, this is an example of a personalized landing page. You can see where we're using this image in there. Now, if we look at this page here, below the actual page, below the video, should I say, we have the same call to action, which is a Calendly call. And it's the same call to action that we have here at the end of the video. However, the interesting thing is that this Calendly booking call link gets clicked 3 to 1. This one here that's embedded in the page really goes to show you that when you do have a personalized video, and obviously when you hit this page and you see, the first thing you see kind of is your name in the video, or maybe your website or whatever, depending on the type of page that you want, then that can really help drive that engagement. So I just wanted to kind of give you a couple of different examples of kind of the videos that we can also help to really drive that engagement as well. And like I say, we will be following up this session with another one at how we can start to create personalized landing pages on your own website, and also how you can start to use Hyperise LinkedIn image personalization within Reply.io as well. So I do hope you will be able to join us for those sessions too. That really is from kind of giving you and presenting today, really is all that we have, but I would love to take any questions. We do have a couple of minutes left in this webinar, so if anybody has any questions, I can see that Tammy was asking some questions about pricing, so let me just jump over for that. So Hyperise starts at $49 per month, and for that you're able to create use 5 live image templates throughout your campaigns. If you're using Reply with lots of different accounts, then you can use one seat within Hyperise across multiple different accounts and campaigns within Reply. There's no restrictions. So, if you've got a team of SDRs and you'll want to use a coffee cup image, for example, or whatever in your outreaches, then you could all use that under one single $49 images account. I hope that helps. To see if any other questions in there. Said was asking about normally using another platform. We have integrations with lots of platforms, but certainly I'd recommend Reply.io in terms of the sort of integration it gives you. Is way more capable a tool for your outreach than the one you mentioned in your comments.
I actually love, Jan, those personalized videos, but as for me, it was always hard to be creative with personalized video. That's why I was always afraid of using personalized videos, probably harder than personalized images, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I do, for example, with personalized videos, especially within our academy, for example, I just do something very simple. Like if you look at this video here, this is me just doing, a talking head video, but the personalization is, on the whiteboard behind me, just there to kind of drive a bit of engagement. But
See from Hyperise.
I'm going to mute myself.
Join you on this video onboarding.
I can't mute myself. I'm going to stop. But what we do in this video is we kind of get through to this part here where we've got some interaction.
And that's image personalization, website personalization, and video personalization.
And you can see I'm smoking to myself. I actually do feel a bit of a goon pointing to nothing. But actually what that does, it's one, you've got the personalization there to get them to play the video in the first place and drive that engagement. And then they're further engaged with the video because you're giving them further options to choose the thing they want rather than forcing them down a fixed route. So, obviously the other sales letter we looked at, there was lots of different elements, but those elements were in truth stock videos that you can find online for very, very little price, in the same way that we can find stock GIFs and stock everything else. It's like you say, it comes down to creativity. George, yes, just to answer your question, we will be sending out a full recording of this, and yeah, that will be hitting your email. I'm sure in the next couple of hours, once I've finished watching the England game and the recording's uploaded. And Mark, with all the changes to privacy and cookies, how do you see the future? Yeah, so again, we're not using cookies from ads to identify people. We're controlling that journey because we're sending out or defining the personalization based on links within our outreach. So we're not coming to the same issues that would come with all of the kind of current privacy elements. And obviously we are a GDPR compliant. Also, you can also personalize your domain, so you can have Hyperise images under your own domains and links under your own domain as well. Do we have any other questions? No problem. I appreciate your comment, Mark. Thank you for that. It looks like we're just about fielded all the questions. Well, I guess that leaves me just to say thank you very much for everybody that's participated and joined in today with your questions or with your suggestions. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate your time. And of course, massive thank you, William. One, just for your pioneering of personalization, image personalization, all the way back to 2007. It's things like that that's enabled Hyperise to exist today, by people like yourself, kind of doing that. So very grateful for you and grateful for having you today.
And thanks for yeah, I'm actually happy to be here too. Thanks for your questions, I guess. Thanks for for having that ability to share the experience with personalized images. It definitely helps, and I will definitely recommend give it a try. It might be like a little bit scary, but give it a try, and you will see great results.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. I mean most things that are scary, or most things that are successful or that are difficult, you know, or that are kind of hard, are scary to start with. But you know, it's usually those that get the best results, right? You know, the easy things are what everybody else does. The hard stuff everybody gives up on, and so that's why it's more effective, because it just makes a big difference, and it just distinguishes you, separates you from everybody else.
Agree. Totally agree.
Cool. On that note, I'm going to say thank you again and sign off. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.